Hello, everybody. Welcome to Nintendo Power Block, episode 207. I am one of your hosts, Corey Deerigan. Alongside me, as always, is that retro code, Eddie V.
I'm Eddie V Deluxe. Hello, everybody.
Yes, Ed. We've done it. Yes. We've willed another Wii U game into existence on the Switch. We did it. We're taking full credit. Just to... there's bonus story content in there, no big deal. It's just me and Ed throwing Pikmin at each other. It's fine. That's really it. How are you doing, Ed? How you holding up? How you doing? You doing all right? Doing good? Doing well? Doing great?
My vibe level has been like super high, super good this week. Asking people different questions, dancing at work, having fun. I actually bought some Pikachu socks at Target today. Because I was just like, you know what? I don't got no video game socks, so let me go get some. And they were there. They're like were only $5. They're really nice and comfortable. So I'm just like, yeah, that's cool. They don't got no hats though. I may have to order a hat. And I'm looking for the book bags that got the chest straps across them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for one. I had to order one of those because when I go walking or I go around stuff, I like to have that kind of bag on me. But other than that, I've been really good.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. Well, really great. I've been really, really great. Just having a good time this week.
Great. That's great to hear. I've been doing okay. I've been trying to work on some stuff and really trying to figure out where we're going with this. It's been a journey to get this far, to say the least. Most of it good. Some of it kind of teetering on frustration. Some of it, kind of back and forth in my head, trying to. I know that we can't really do everything that we want to do, but in my head, I still want to do everything, and then that's caused some, frustrations on all, just on me. We had a discussion on the Boss Rush podcast a little bit last night.
Yes,
when we recorded that episode, and look, not gonna lie, I did it to myself, really, honestly. Just all this trying to make sure we're giving the people what they want. Bringing back multiple shows, trying out new shows. And honestly, venting last night really helped me release that stress. And now I'm just trying to reallocate that frustration into focus, really.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been trying to see what's going to work for us, what's not working, what do we need to do, and, maybe we need to have a team meeting about stuff, but I feel really good about the notes that I took today at lunch and kind of when I got home, and just thinking, because we've been podcasting for a really, really, really long time. Well, not a really, really long time, but you know what I mean? Like, we've been doing this for a long time, and we've had discussions about taking it to the next level and doing some new things, maybe discontinuing some things and doing more team-oriented things, and we've added people, and it's been great, and I really just want our shows to succeed in the best ways possible, especially if we're going to take that next step coming up in either in the fall or in the new year or whatever. So I have been taking notes. I've been making notes. I've been really trying to study our analytics and stuff to see what's working and what's not. And, I think we're going to try some new formats for our console specific shows, especially if the PlayStation 1 is coming into focus more and more these days. So that's kind of where I'm at. But, I kind of ranted a lot last night, and I know this isn't really what people come to the show to hear, but what do you think about what's happening and what we kind of discussed last night, and what are your thoughts after we, having a night to sleep on it and whatever?
I still stand by what I said yesterday. I think we have been succeeding in a lot of things, and whatever changes that come upon it, to keep that you know, us to continue to succeed. I'm all welcome and everything. We we've done this for years on so many different platforms that you know we are still learning and still helping each other get better and better. And so, like, just thinking about it and everything, it's just like whatever it takes for us to continue to bring success to the team, but also continue to bring consistent content to more people. We're on the right track. And if there's going to be some changes, it's going to be weird at first, but that's what happened when you change. It's supposed to be weird. You're supposed to adjust and see what works and what doesn't work, because the things that don't work may not work at that time, but may come back later on and do work. You're always you're always building, and you want to continue to build until it's time where you can't do it no more. So yesterday night, with our talk, it's just like figuring things out, uh, getting stuff, just to the people and everything. But I feel really good. I like I said, I want to do my part for Boss Rush the best way that I can. So um, I can't wait for what the future holds for us.
Yeah. I mean, I can't either. I've been really writing some things down to like, because I mean, I've said this 100 times, 1,000 times. Podcasts are our bread and butter. That's what we
Hmm.
are known for. That's what we're good at. Some of these other shows, are cool ideas, but maybe do we kind of try to fit them in somewhere else, or do we just kind of take a step back and see, okay, well, this is what works on YouTube, this is what works on Twitch, and this is what works in our podcast format, and maybe we just kind of take that step back and maybe try something new in those spaces. Yeah, pod and play is great, which I would actually like to do maybe once a week as a Twitch live show. I think would be neat.
Hmm.
I these are all just kind of ideas that I wrote down and we'll discuss at some point. But maybe we throw the retro game show and mix it in with standard definition and bring that show back. And I just I just feel like we are on the cusp of doing something moving from great to amazing. And I know I'm in my head about this all the time, but like still just trying to pinpoint what that next step is,
And like I mentioned to you, I'm just like, I don't want you to stretch yourself thin, because it's
Well,
that we
that's
we could do all of this stuff and achieve it and still be good, but if it hits you again, you may feel like you're doing too much. So that's why I don't want you to stretch yourself like
and
too thin and everything. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh, and that's what I was talking about last night too, right? Where like let's tighten up Nintendo Power Block to, we'll have like a 15-minute pre-show, which we'll do more with next week, I'm sure. I want to have like a 15-minute topic before we start the regular show, like
Mm-hmm.
a snack talk or whatever. Like we've been talking about the snack show jokingly, but I think it would be cool if like you, me, and Celeste talked about what we made, like what kind of food we made that week or whatever, and or ate or something, and talk a little bit about it before the show starts, and then kind of tag that on maybe at the end of the audio version or a separate video on the YouTube channel. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then like tighten the show up to be like about an hour, right? Because we do go long, and we like to go long, but our analytics show that once people hit that hour and 10-minute mark, they kind of are done, and
Yeah.
I think we need to play into that, and there's a few people that listen to the whole thing, right? And I'm not saying people don't listen to the whole thing, but just looking at percentages wise, I think we can tighten up the show and still be us, and maybe do a couple things afterwards. Like I still like the retro game show, but I want to do something fun after the show just to give people who are watching live just a little bit more than just the podcast, and that's kind of where I'm at. So, these are all things that we're going to work on and talk about, and we'll see where it goes. But I feel 100 times better than I did yesterday, though, to be honest with you, and
that's good.
About 1,000 times better than I did this weekend. So I told you it would pass. I just needed to get out there. So, but anyways, Ed, the other thing I kind of want to cut down on is the housekeeping stuff. People don't care. People know where to find us. I'm going to try to shorten that up at some point too.
Okay.
Just to, because people come to us for our conversation and personality driven topic stuff. Like, people don't really care about the professionalism in terms of the housekeeping. I've gotten emails about that, quite a few over the last couple months, about the housekeeping stuff. It's too generic and too official, and that's not why people listen to us. And I get it, and I don't know. I just, this is going to sound bad, and I know I need to probably share more of this stuff with you guys. I just haven't, for just being lazy and just haven't gotten around to it. But I see a lot more than you guys do on the back end of stuff. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think too much about a lot of this stuff too, is like, I'm trying to figure out the best way to optimize our stuff. And that's not always a good way to look at things either, but anyways.
It is what it is.
Ed's been keeping me sane this week, so
I've been doing my best. I always, it's my word versus the mind, and I always feel like that. Besides you, I talk to a lot of people who, when they're dealing with stuff or they feel a certain type of way, that it's always going to be me versus the mind, and people like to still trust their mind over what I'm telling them. And then when they do come to a realization that everything I've been saying comes forth, they'd be like, oh, I'm like, you did tell me that. I was like, yeah, I did tell you that. But I know that when it's me versus the mind, sometimes people still trust the mind over than what I say. And it's human nature. People are always going to trust their mind over what somebody says, and it takes a while for people to realize that. So, I mean, it's just not you. Like, there's a lot of my friends that I talk to about stuff that they rather trust their mind and sometimes stay in that same circle than take my word for it and try to apply it to what their situation is. Yeah. Goodness, I actually went for philosophy for this.
Speaking of philosophy, you finally had my favorite treat of all time recently.
Which one? The Twix cookie?
Yeah.
Cream? I actually had so if you guys checked out Pop Block last week, Corey mentioned the cookie and cream Twix, and I had it ever since last year when they first did it as a trial run. And so I was just like, what is this? Because Oreo has a cookie and cream bar. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't all of that. But when I tried the Twix one, I was just like, yes. And they took it away for a while, and then they officially brought it back because they seen how good the sales were. Excuse me. So, yeah, the cookies and cream Twix, I prefer that over the regular Twix. Like, I'll get the regular Twix if it's like 39 or 69 cent and we don't got the cookie and cream one. But yeah, I put the cookie and cream, the original. I don't like so much the peanut butter one.
Well, peanut butter sucks.
Yes. Don't let Ryan let you hear that.
Nope, peanut butter sucks. Look, if he wants to rub peanut butter on the muscly muscles and his sweat is probably made of peanut butter at this point. Okay, I'm just saying, peanut butter sucks.
When you heard about the peanut butter cookies, did you go ah? Because me and Celeste, we was laughing, which is like, oh, Corey ain't about to like that.
Yeah. So yeah, about that. That's peanut butter sucks. Anyways, let's.
But your
What?
oh, one last thing. Your BLT dude was literally on my mind. He discovered the BLT. I
I
was just
know.
like, dang,
I was thinking about it too.
so bad.
I was thinking about it too. I really wanted one.
And then the fried rice curry that you was talking about yesterday came to my mind. I'm just like, dang. Like, Corey got me thinking about this food like crazy, and I want some. Like, I was craving it like crazy today.
Telling you, it was tasty. It's really tasty. So, but Ed, we're gonna get in some of this news here. There's a couple things that we should probably talk about, starting with the big kind of reveal that Pikmin 3 Deluxe is coming to Nintendo Switch. It was revealed earlier this week in a trailer. Not really a big surprise, but it was nice to finally get it confirmed. It's coming with some new story content, some extra content, and funnily enough, it was removed from the Wii U eShop also, because I'm sure Nintendo would rather than people be playing it on their new machine for $60 and not their old machine for $20. So, how do you feel about this?
I am so happy. I put on my Twitter page that I am twirling. Like, I reposted the trailer. Like, I am twirling in happiness about this. I know me and you and Jesse, like, we all been talking about this. And we still are waiting for Pikmin 4. But I love the fact that this beautiful Wii U game is getting more exposure. And definitely, like, this is a game you really want to play on the go. Because it's just like, you sink time in it and everything. And it's just like, you could just throw your headphones and just, minimize and maximize and strategize. And, like, just really enjoy it for what it is and stuff. So I am really happy. And I love the fact that, it's all the DLC and they got new bonus content. So, like, this version is yes, it is a definitive version. But it's worth whatever the price is going to be about that. And, I know people have been talking about, oh, it's $60, but I'm just like, don't forget, Grand Theft Auto 5, I think it's still full price at some places, and people are still buying it. And that game don't get criticized at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's just like, if you're going to be mad about Nintendo pricing...
I mean, watch, then it's already confirmed coming to PlayStation 5 and Series X, right? Grand Theft Auto 5. I guarantee you it's still going to be $60.
And people are going to go and buy it.
Yeah. So, we'll see. I don't care. Look, I've just as a longtime Nintendo fan, I just accepted that when they port games to new systems, they're just going to sell it like a new game, and you're just going to have to suck it up. Right. I mean, when they started porting the NES games to Game Boy Advance, when Link to the Past came with Four Swords, it was full price. When some of these games came from GameCube to Wii, and some of these other games came to 3DS and DS, it's virtual. You know what I mean? Like, it just happens.
Right, and people got to realize that even though games get ported to another console and stuff, it still takes work for people to do. So it's not like it's a cheap budget thing that they're doing. They are really going in and making sure that this code and this data and stuff works, because you don't want to get a port of a game and it's broken to all Hades. So I'm like, yeah, if it is coming to $60, if it is $60, it probably will be $60. Great. I'm like, I'm getting new content. I'm getting all the DLC. I'm getting a great game that many held as one of the great, a really great Wii U title from Nintendo. Like we talk about beautiful graphics and stuff, it still looks good today on Wii U. And to see it on a TV, like I said, I got a 55-inch TV, and I want to see how gorgeous this game looks. Like literally on my TV, on my Switch, for my Switch, and I cannot wait. You know, people pay $60 for other versions. I, for games being ported, it's not it doesn't feel like a $40 game,
Yeah.
you know. Like, yes, Captain Toad is like a $40 game because there's not much going on with that, but that's more of a puzzle game. It's not as big and expensive as Pikmin is. So yeah, the $60 is worth it to me. I'm gonna pay it.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's gonna be any other games at that time at that same price. Y'all already complaining about NBA 2K 21 being $70 on Series X and PlayStation 5. What is the complaint about $60 of a game that's being ported over with new content?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's the same with New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe. It's the same with, I mean, all these Wii U games that came over. Like, there's extra content. There's more, you know what I mean? There's, yeah. There's reasons to pay $60 for these ports. I truly believe that. Like, I know some people were like, well, maybe this game should have cost $60 and had Pikmin 1 and 2 in it, but I'm like, Pikmin 3 is way bigger than 1 and 2 combined. Like, it's a huge game.
Right.
It's, I don't know, man. I don't see the issue with it. Although I think this is ironically, this is probably the most negative conversation I've seen around this game costing $60 is the one we're having right now, and I don't think we're being that negative. So I think people are ecstatic that this game is coming, and they have a good reason why. I feel bad for a lot of those Wii U games that were stuck there, and we had this conversation yesterday about the games that haven't made their way over, and besides the games that have gotten sequels like Kirby and Yoshi and maybe a select few others, that like there's a good chance a lot of these Wii U games will make it over. So that's just my 2 cents. So
yeah, and if you're gonna complain, once again, just don't buy the game. But knowing some people, they're gonna complain, still buy it, and it's gonna be the hot thing on Twitter or social media or Facebook or whatever. So pay for it, don't pay for it, be gifted. If you don't want to pay the $60. Tell moms or something to if she loves you or something to buy it for you.
Yeah. All right, kind of moving on here. There was an early build of Breath of the Wild. Did you see this of Link running around Japan, which was really neat. I mean, these are just really placeholder assets to test Link running around and stuff. But this was like a really early version not early version, but kind of that first demo that they showed of Link looking, not the first trailer that they showed where Link did that backflip off the horse to shoot the arrow at the Guardian, but man, remember how exciting that trailer was when we first saw it?
So
that was like
okay.
Oh, that was like one of the first things I think we ever talked about on Nintendo Power Block was that trailer. That trailer was so cool.
Shoot. That's the one where Anuma was talking about the game, and then he snapped his finger, and you just seen the swirl, and my jaw was on the floor. I'm like, "What is this gorgeous game?" Like, wow. And so, and then seeing that trailer and everything, and the little farmer running away like that and stuff, it was like, yeah. I was just like, this game looks gorgeous.
Yeah. It was awesome. So, but yeah, this trailer just shows Link running around kind of this very boxy version of Japan, and there's just placeholder kind of building assets and stuff, which I'm sure they probably use for, just placeholder assets to test game mechanics like jumping and. I'm sure they do this for Mario also, and they showed off some skydiving from Link and everything. So people were making the joke of what was it? Legend of Zelda Fortnite or something, where like Link was literally jumping out of like this fake thing and just skydiving down to the ground in this fake kind of landscape. So it was pretty funny. But the character model they're using is kind of more of a 3D kind of. I mean, the cell shading's still there, but remember that glitch where if you hid in a certain part of the map, they took the filter off and you could see the Link model for what it really looks like.
Yeah,
that's the Link model that's running around, and it looks really neat, just to kind of see it for the first time, moving around and stuff. So, but what did you think of it?
I thought it was really cool. I thought it's a good way to, get ideas and think of like when they actually started production on this, like it gave you idea of what they were going for.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really cool idea that something like this comes out and we find out, because we sometimes normally don't find out a lot of back stuff on the development of a game, and to see something like this happening, I'm just like, this makes this game more interesting when you learn about it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was really cool. I hope they continue to do more stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. So the where was I going with this? Oh, so not really Nintendo related, but kind of Nintendo related. But the Xbox event happened this week, and they showed off some of the ways that you could play the Game Pass stuff. Mm-hmm. They showed a little contraption that looked really familiar. It was like this little holster with two Joy-Con looking things that holstered onto the side of your phone. How did you take that? I mean, and then they showed off that 8-bit do controller that looks like the SNES one, but it's just black now. But what did you think of that? What did you think of that stuff? Did it give you Switch vibes? Xbox Switch?
It did. I kind of just like. Okay, so with the Pro controller, some people were just like, the Pro controller feels like an Xbox controller. So it's that kind of vibe with the controllers that they show. Like, oh, they really went for a Switch idea, and the other one, the Super Nintendo one, was just like, okay, I could see that one working. Like, that's cool. The Switch one, I think it was like what the two pieces were inside of the phone and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that reminded me of the one company that was trying to sue Nintendo for like a copyright pattern or something like that, and I think it didn't go through. I think they lost it because when people see, it was just like a accessory thing. It may still be going, but that's what I was thinking of when I seen it. I'm like, this looks familiar from something else.
Mm-hmm.
For it. And why would you want to have a contraption like that on your phone? Like, don't you want to like play your game with a better controller or an clip thing for a gamepad for playing a Microsoft game on your phone? Like, I don't know. It was looking weird to me, but I'm just like, okay. The Super Nintendo one looking was really cool. I really like that black with the Xbox design on it.
I really liked it a lot. If xCloud ever comes to iOS, that'll probably be the controller I kind of stick with to try stuff. So, although I have two Xbox controllers, I could just use my black one. But who wants to do that?
I literally would use that controller on just the Xbox, like for itself. If they were able to do that, I would do it. Like play like some of the indie games and Mega Man stuff. Like I would need a game that's like really platform heavy, or even like Cuphead playing on a controller like that. I'm like, that would be really cool to use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So the last thing I want to talk about here, Sony State of Play was today, but they showed a couple games that will be coming to Switch. One of them is the Pokemon-inspired MMO Temtem, which was really big on Steam Early Access this year. It's the MMO Pokemon game that people really want, and it got a lot of really interesting feedback this year from fans, and people really wanted this to be a Pokemon game, and it looks like they're doing it. It's pretty much Pokemon, but there's a couple different differences, right? Like there's only, I think they said there's only 81 monsters to catch, but they evolve over time, obviously, like Pokemon. There's more than just battling other characters. You can kind of make friendships with other characters, form teams, kind of, obviously the trading is a big thing. You can play with other players online in more meaningful ways than just team battles. There's a lot of exploration. There's a couple continents to explore right away. So it looks really neat. Like it looks like it's going to fill that Pokemon void that people don't have on other consoles. It is coming to PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One and Series X, and they're aiming for a Switch release next year as well. So have you seen any Temtem? Have you watched any of it?
No, not really. I've been focused on the Nexama kind of game that's coming out.
The what? What game?
Nexama.
What is that?
That's like a Pokemon game also. That's coming to Switch. It's coming like I think next week.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wait, what's it called now?
Like Nexama something.
Nexamon?
Yeah. Like NEXX. If you go on Nintendo Life, they have the 15 games that's coming to Switch in August.
Yeah.
And that name is one. It may be something else. I know it's like next to something.
Let's look at let's
But the Temtem one I haven't seen yet.
Nexomon
I heard people talk
Extinction.
Yeah. I heard of the Temtem one, but I just haven't taken a look at it to like really see it or anything.
Mm-hmm. That Nexomon I like the art style. It's really pretty. It's got a really cool kind of pinks and oranges and kind of pastel-y looking thing. It looks I like the look of it. Is there a trailer for it, or is it just the...
Yeah, there's a trailer for it.
Okay, I'll have to look it up when we're done so the sound doesn't come through because I want to see that. Also, Windbound comes this month, which is
I'm
that Wind Waker-esque looking game. Looks awesome. I'm excited for Windfall.
When I seen it, I was just like, yeah, I need to buy this. I know you mentioned it, and I had to recollect on. I'm like, I heard that, but I just didn't get. I wasn't familiar on how it would look because I think when they announced it, it had been like a long time. So the thought of it kind of went away. But then I looked at the picture of it, and I was just like, oh yeah, I definitely need this.
Yeah, it's really, really cool looking. So. Man, I want to see more of this Nexomon game. I've been really into like these kind of games that I was never really into as a kid, and I'm kind of like Crosscode, right, is the perfect example, and I've been looking for more games like that to just have. I don't know, man. They've been really something I've been wanting to just play lately. So I've been. They showed new footage of that Sea of Stars game too, which that's one of the prettiest pixelated games I've ever seen in my life. Sea of Stars looks so good, so just really, really looks great. So, is there anything else we missed, Ed? I think that's kind of it.
Besides the sales data, a Switch hitting 61 million.
The Switch is Reggie posted on Twitter. This article is already out of date. I guess it's already outsold the NES, which now all they have to do is catch the Wii, I think, to be the highest selling home console of all time.
Right now, I think it's DS or 3DS because they got to pass 72 million.
Home console, what I'm saying,
home console, yes.
Yeah. Handhelds, they're never going to catch the DS. The DS is a monster. I still don't know how Nintendo sold that many. Actually, I do, is because every time a new model came out, everybody just bought the new one.
Yeah.
Somebody brought that up the other day, by the way, is like every time, like, you know how Xbox 360 sold like 80 million units? Somebody was like, well, how many of those were people replacing their Red Ring of Death machines? I was like, well, that's probably a good point. I never really thought of that, but
And dude, just think the revenue that Nintendo acquired was $100 billion and or yen, I think, and they jumped up 548% year to year. I'm like, that's crazy. Like I understand, like we all celebrated Horizon hitting 10 million and God of War hitting 10 million. All of those took time to get to that numbers. They all well deserved and stuff. How in the heck did Animal Crossing hit 22 million in 6 months?
uh-huh.
That's insane. That's why everybody was just like, "Wait, what?" And so it like, and I understand Grand Theft Auto 5 is still selling whatever it's selling. That's fine. But I'm like, for a first party game that hit that high number worldwide in 6 months, who would have thought at $60, mind you? Animal Crossing hasn't dropped at all, nor had a sale, I think, and it's $60.
Yeah.
That's bunkers.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is. It is. So, yeah, man, I just, it's funny because I was thinking about yesterday or last night or this whatever day it was. I don't remember really. I was thinking about our kind of when we were starting Nintendo Power Block for the first time, right? And just the things we were talking about back then, and it was like the top. Remember when we did the 2-part top 25 Wii U episode, and I was like, man, we were really scrounging for stuff to talk about, and now it's just like Nintendo is really doing a lot to garner just everybody loves Nintendo again, and I know we've been saying that for 2 or 3 years at this point, but
I think I think the love for Nintendo has already been there. It's just that people are just late recognizing it. It's always a certain kind of generation that different gamers come in, and during that generation, a certain game or certain genre becomes popular. Nintendo has always consistently kept delivering great games and ideas and stuff, but it went over the head because here in America, just here in America itself, there was a big focus on other stuff than it was on Nintendo. You know, a lot, like I said, people think that Nintendo games are just kiddie stuff. I'm like, no, you try to 100% a Nintendo game without trying to think it's a trophy or achievement. You will find out how difficult that game is. Folks still struggle playing New Super Mario Brothers Wii, trying to 100% that game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Nintendo has always been delivering content. It's just that people laughed at it because for them, gaming was stuff online with their friends and doing first person shooters and stuff like that, having the best graphics and everything. And it's just like, well, you're missing out on a lot of great content that Nintendo is making for their first party wise. And if it wasn't for Nintendo, still for some companies, they wouldn't be here right now. They wouldn't have the revenue to stick around. Not Final Fantasy, Square Enix wouldn't be in their position if it really wasn't for Nintendo, in a sense. And you could say, Square Enix was making these big games and everything, but then to read how Final Fantasy 13, like in Japan, yeah, they sold 1 million, but or they sold a lot, but 1 million copies got turned back in to be used games, and then you see something like Bravely Default that is just taken over and surprising Square Enix themselves. It's like Nintendo has been doing stuff for developers and publishers like crazy. It's just that people didn't take time to notice it or even acknowledge it. So it's like, to me, this is a time of celebration and everything with Nintendo, but they have been consistent doing what they do best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's innovate, that's make great games, and that's making nostalgia feel fresh again. That's what they've been doing forever, and sometimes it works, right? With like the Switch or the DS and the Wii, like sometimes it works, and then sometimes it doesn't work so well, like the Wii U, and
But I even feel like the Wii U, like I said with the Wii U, if Nintendo is still doing stuff that's so experimental, so weird, you as other companies who already have a bigger fan base shouldn't be trying to imitate what Nintendo was doing, because they did it with Smart Glass, they did it with Vita. I'm like, why are you trying to imitate something that's not even in your range of competition?
well, to
What was
me,
the purpose of it? Oh, go ahead.
I think the Switch is like the full realization of what they wanted the Wii U to be. Was this thing that you can play on your TV, and
Hmm.
then when somebody wants to watch the TV, you can play it on the gamepad, right? Like I think that I
Yes.
I truly think the Switch is exactly what they wanted the Wii U to be, and the Wii U was just like it's like you look at the Fat DS, and that was such a cool idea, and it was a great system, but then the DS Lite and the DSi were like the true versions of the DS, right? And they were sexy to look at. They were cool looking pieces of technology instead of this big clunky kind of
It was the
piece of
refinement.
plastic with some screens on it, And yeah, like you said, they
Hmm.
refined it, and you see that with the NES top loader. You see that with the second gen Super Nintendo. You saw that with the Wii after it was out for so long, like the Wii Mini that they sold in Canada. It was just a little black box that was
Yeah.
about as big as a disc, right? And I just think Nintendo and now you see it again with the Switch Lite, right? Like they've refined everything to an extent, and even the Pro Switch model, the revised Switch model has a better battery life, has better insides, has kind of a
Hmm.
different way the Joy Cons are. So I mean, Nintendo's always been great at revising, and I think they can spend that money on that because they don't have overblown budgets of these huge games. Like you look at something like The Last of Us Part 2, right? Graphically impressive, fantastic acting, but what was the budget on that game? And Nintendo doesn't have that type of budget. Not saying that like
They
trying to
they ha-
compare the way they're approaching games, right? They're
yeah.
totally different, but I just think like you look at Sony and Microsoft, and they're spending all this money on the technology behind the games themselves, the acting, the just all these things, and Nintendo's still using simplicity to sell their devices.
It's one of the things that, how come something like The Last of Us Part Two have this big budget and everything, and yeah, it did what it needs to do, but then you look at Link Between Worlds, which is a 3DS game that people still talk about, that people still are excited, that still wanted to come to Switch and stuff, and it's just like Nintendo has something, and I know a lot of people are like, well, it's about the Nintendo audience and Nintendo fans. I'm like, no, it's something about Nintendo and their design, their philosophy, and how they treat their products, and why they continue to be at a high price and stuff, and why it holds this value and stuff. It's not because they're trying to recoup money back or anything. They know if they're going to offer you this high quality experience, you know that revenue that they're receiving shows off the work that shows off the work that went into this game, like really paid off. Like, yes, Ghost of Tsushima looks beautiful. Last of Us Part 2, they look beautiful. But if no one is talking about those games, you know, all that budget stuff that went into it and stuff, it doesn't make no sense. It doesn't make no difference and stuff. Like we started off the show talking about Pikmin 3 on how beautiful that is, and that's an older game and everything. But if you looked at it on Wii U, you would be like, wow, this game really is beautiful. Bayonetta 2, people are still loving that game, and it's an older game from Platinum. You know, there's just something about Nintendo, their design, that we acknowledge that if you've been late to the party, you still could come to the party.
Hmm.
In a sense, like we was talking about Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD coming to Switch. Those will still do numbers.
Yeah.
You know, like who is gonna be like, oh, this is the third time I do Twilight Princess. But if it's in your library and you got an amiibo for it, you're gonna buy it. You're gonna play it.
Yeah.
Anyone who's going to play, they got Death Stranding. Death Stranding should have hit a lot of numbers, and it didn't. People are now loving it because it came on PC. But Bayonetta 2, well, people been loving that game since it came on Wii U, even after with the controversy stuff, and they still. Like I said, I played it like a few days ago and beat it, and I'm just like, this game is still a classic. Still a great game. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And I think Nintendo's gone out of their way to make the right partnerships too, right? With third parties and second party projects and stuff. Like I think they've really done a great job of doing that. Like you said, Bayonetta with Sega and Platinum is huge for them. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, I think, is just a game that's going to sell no matter what you do with it. Their partnership with Tecmo Koei and Bandai Namco, like with Smash and the Warriors games and just Fire Emblem, even they've just been doing a great job getting the right games at the right time on their platform. And yeah, third party games are delayed, and people complain about that all the time, including us from time to time, right? Like, why aren't these games coming out date and date? But like, Nintendo is so in control of their messaging that when Doom Eternal hits the Switch, they're going to be able to have that news cycle all to themselves now, because it's already out on other platforms. But it's an event when third party games come to Switch. So
it's going to take. I think it's going to take the announcement of Doom Eternal release date for people actually to play Doom Eternal, because that came out. Animal Crossing destroyed it, and it's on my system, but I haven't started yet. Unless people, the Doom Eternal feels like you gotta force yourself to play that game, and that's the kind of thing that I got with it. But I'm just like, if Nintendo was just like, you know what, let's have some fun. Let's give you one of Samus weapons for it to make it up and see how that goes. People will be playing that game like crazy.
I mean, I think Doom Eternal sold a lot of copies because based on what Doom did, just on Steam and Xbox and PlayStation, right? I mean, 6 million units, I think, is not anything to
laugh
sneeze at, right? Like that's a lot of units. But
how many people out of that 6 million?
I just think Animal Crossing really hit at the right time too. I mean, people were looking forward to that game, but people being stuck inside, people being able to be social without being able to be social with that game, and Doom Eternal, like, people didn't care for some of the stuff, and I think Doom Eternal's problem was that Doom 2016 was such a huge surprise to people that's why people like it, right? Like, I don't think Doom 2016 is an amazing game. I just think it wasn't what people were expecting, and that excited people, right? I mean, it's a great game. Don't get me wrong. It's a great game, but it's nothing like really revolutionary, right? Halo and Wolfenstein have already did that beforehand, right? Like, I think Wolfenstein, New Order, and New Colossus are way better games than Doom 2016. And again, this is all my opinion, but I think that Doom was such a nice surprise that people were expecting them to build on that, and they really kind of didn't, except for the grappling hook, which I think people liked, but they had the grappling hook and the platforming stuff, which people didn't really like. And that kind of turned people off of it. Yeah, and then just one more thing. And that coupled with how fun and refreshing and social Animal Crossing was, I just think Animal Crossing really just overpowered the conversation, no matter who you were talking to.
Doom and Doom Eternal needed that Metroid Prime map, like, in the corner when it came to the platforming, to see where you was going, because the pausing was like stopping the action that was going on with that. But like, even like Ori and the Will of the Wisp, like, yes, it came out was so excited that it came out, and it looked like it just got passed through. It came and it went. Final Fantasy VII. It came, did what it needed to do, and it went. And it's just like,
I think
oh, good.
people are still talking about Final Fantasy VII. I think at
Yeah,
least,
they are.
and it's on sale this week. And I've been like, I'm really holding off because I want the Xbox version next year when it comes out. I'm really holding off, but it's like it's really hard to hold off because like I don't really care for Final Fantasy VII, the original version, but I the new one looks really great. And it has that Final Fantasy 15 battle system that I really like, and like it just looks great. And man, I really want to play it, but I'm trying to hold off for the Xbox version. I'm a terrible person. Anyways, continue. Sorry.
No, I think going back to like Nintendo, and I know we're probably gonna be wrapping it up. It's just like there's something about Nintendo that people say that there's some kind of magic that's there. I actually was watching the G4 review of Metroid Other M, and how controversial that review was, and it was amazing to me that they was pointing out all of this negative stuff about it, and the tone of the delivery of it just kind of felt like it was unfair. And it's not the narrator's voice. I mean, not the narrator's voice. It's not the narrator itself. It's just how the review was. It's just like there was so much negative points made and stuff that was being said. Like it didn't matter. I'm like, this is someone else's interpretation about Samus, and of course, yeah, it didn't gel well together. But I'm just like, you got to. One of the arguments I make is that we only have an idea of what Samus gone through and stuff because of her past adventures with no dialogue, with no voiceover. We never thought of hearing Samus' voice in our head. We never thought about giving Samus a personality and a background. We never thought of that. What was the thing that we thought about? What bosses we were gonna fight? What powers we was gonna get? And where can we explore? We never really thought about Samus having emotions and having flashbacks and PTSD or being traumatized. We never thought about that. And when you put it to that light, it makes you think of Samus in a different way. But people weren't into that, and it was just kind of weird that Nintendo actually did try to do something with narrative. And we always said that what can Nintendo do if they made a story-driven game? It may not have worked out for some people, but I'm like, it worked out for me. Because this is a new light on Samus. And I think at that time, people just didn't give it a fair shake.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
No, but last but not least, I'm sorry, Corey. Like,
why are you sorry? What are you sorry about? What are you sorry for?
Samus Returns for 3DS. Like, it kind of went back to what people wanted out of it, and they just didn't give it. It just didn't do sale numbers, and it's weird. I'm just like, you guys were mad about other Metroid Other M, and you wanted something to go back to it. So okay, yeah, this is a port. Not a port. This is a reimagine. This is a remake. So they gave you back with some new added elements. So why are y'all not giving that game support in the numbers that it deserves?
Because the Switch was so popular. But to be fair, I thought they were going to port that game a long time ago, and they never did.
Mm-hmm.
But to kind of clarify, I don't think Nintendo thought the Switch was going to be as big of a hit as it was, right? Like I think they proved that because there was no systems on the shelves, and then they were struggling to get them out, and they doubled their output the second half of the year to get them out for Christmas that year because it was so popular. And then we started seeing the third party support, and then we started seeing a ton of indies come over, and then the rest is history. But I really think they were banking on the Switch. I mean, selling decently, but not as well as it did. And the 3DS still thriving another year or so, a year and a half, and it didn't. The Switch almost instantly killed the 3DS because of Breath of the Wild, because of ARMS, because of Splatoon, because of Mario Kart Deluxe, because of Street Fighter, Bomberman, and then you started seeing all these games like Mario plus Rabbids was a nice surprise that I don't think Nintendo expected to hit the way it did. Xenoblade, like Nintendo literally had a hit game every single month for that first year, and
First year, yeah.
that seriously killed the 3DS.
And
That killed the 3DS. It did.
it did, and the thing about it is, well, yes, the thing about it is, like, added to the fact that yes, you did mention indies and stuff. That look at Nicholas and how them to run games and all of these other people who are bringing indie games onto cartridge, and those are selling. Indie games on Switch are being treated as just equal as first party and third party games, especially when it comes to the physical version. Everybody was talking about, oh, everything's going to be all digital and that's the way that we're going to live. No, if you look at it, how in the world does a game that's $15 that's indie selling $40 physically and selling out within 5 minutes before anybody get a chance to get it? Like, that's crazy. I mentioned the region lock free thing. People are still doing it more on Switch than they are on Xbox and PS4. And they talked about our systems are region free. So why is it people still doing it on Switch, and why people are still buying Japanese eShop cards to play games early? Look how when they was doing the Resident Evil stream, kind of thing to see if it works on Nintendo. It didn't really work that well, but people was trying it. That's crazy. And so I think with Nintendo and Switch is that people didn't expect that this system would evolve into what it is now and stuff. Like, if you were, it should have been that PS4 and Xbox One during this quarantine time, especially with One X, should have sold out way faster than Nintendo Switch, but it was the other way around. Like, Ring Fit was killing those systems. That's insane.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. I don't really know if I have anything to add to that. It was just, look, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what Nintendo's doing anymore. They're just killing it in all aspects, right? Like Labo, even.
Yeah.
Like the VR experiments they had, and it's all hitting, and we don't hear much about Labo, but I think that's just because it was an experiment they tried and they sold what they needed to sell to be successful, and maybe it wasn't successful enough to keep going, and maybe they'll have more Labo this year. Who knows, right? Like, who really knows? But and then the way Ring Fit hit was, I don't think they were expecting that either. Ring Fit is just a huge hit. So
yeah, I was just sitting there talking. I'm like, should I spend the $80 to get this? I'll wait. And know me, I'll probably get it or stuff. Yeah. And so it's. I think Nintendo and Switch and just Nintendo in general, I think they don't. I know, of course, they're a business. They're looking for sale numbers. They're hoping that they hit it big and stuff, but they don't. But they're more about getting that entertainment and making sure that entertainment is at high quality than anything else. I'm not trying to knock Microsoft. I'm not trying to knock Sony, because I think they're trying to do the same thing. I think right now for them is that some of the opinions and some of the communities have been discouraging with some things. And not saying that Nintendo don't have discouraging fans in the community. Nintendo stuff has its own problems, but there's something about Nintendo just like when it's right, it's right, and it's fair. People will say what they need to say, but they'll get over it and yet still support it.
Yeah.
No.
Ed, we're gonna kind of wrap up here. Is there anything you're playing real quick before we get out of here? I know we kind of talked about a new format, but we're gonna probably start that next week because I didn't really plan a show tonight, to be honest. We just kind of wung it. So, but are you playing anything interesting?
I just finished Hop, and I'm going to be hopping back on Paper Mario.
How was Hob? You were sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I want to hear because you had some frame rate issues, which is
yeah. Okay. So I don't know if my Switch was overheating or whatever. But I cut it off yesterday night, and I'm just like, before I start Power Block, you know what? I'm at the last section of this game. I'm just going to go ahead and finish it, and I didn't really have that many problems. I it's a good idea of a game. I know that people just like, oh, it's very Legend of Zelda. I don't. It's not. I had my fun with it. I'm glad that I finished it, but I took it off my system with the quickness. Like, I think it's just an average game. Like, it's fun, it's okay, but there's better Zelda style adventure games that you could play. I so I finished it as part of my backlog challenge for Boss Rush, and I got my 2 Yoshi coin. And it's just like, I don't want to explore none of this world again. Like, I just don't want to go back into this world because it's direction. They don't give you a good way to tell you where you need to go and stuff that you need to do. Like, and the story, I don't know what the story about this game was. The land was polluted. You fight a boss and you try to unpollute the world and try to get it back running. I think that's the story. I'm just like, no. Like, I don't know. I feel like Ocean Horn is better than this game.
Yeah.
Which I wonder if Ocean Horn 2 come to Switch.
It's coming at some point. I think it's a little ways out because I think it's it was an Apple Arcade exclusive at some point, but
yeah. So, I say if it was on sale for like $7 or $8, get it. I don't know what the price is for it, and if you want 100% it, you can get it for Switch. I say probably get of the PC version or something, because there was just like some stuff missing in the Switch version than PC or any console stuff. But yeah, it was okay, but I think it's like a 5 or a 6. Like, it's very average, and you can find better adventure games for it. So, and I've been looking at Diablo 3. I'm like, I need to get done with this game. I don't know how far I am in that, but I think I'm gonna hop back into Diablo 3 and work on it. And stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Paper Mario and Breath of the Wild. I mentioned I play Bayonetta 3 on easy. And it's not because I really want to challenge it, which it's funny, Corey, that you mentioned that you play games on easy. A lot of people have been doing that on social media. They've been talking about, I play games on easy because I don't want to. It's not that I don't want to deal with the challenge. I just want to have an easier time to get through a game.
Yeah.
No, and get what I needed and be able to move on.
That's my thing. Unless I'm going for like achievements or trophies or something, I'm just like, I played Tomb Raider on easy because I was like, I want to play it and have fun. I want to feel like I'm just mowing guys down. I don't need the challenge anymore, unless it's like a very specific game. But at this point, yeah. Pass.
I think for me is that I'll play it on normal, but if I want to replay it, get some things that I'll still get an achievement or trophy for, or I just want to like refresh myself for little things, I'll play it on easy. I have no problem with that. So it was just like Corey's been playing. Of course, Corey's been talking about playing games on easy, but a lot of people have been talking about that. And hey, if you want to play it on easy, play it on easy. Get the experience if you need to. Get the story and let's all talk about it and everything. Because getting through Mass Effect next month is going to be
Yeah. Yeah. It's wow. Anyways. But is that all you've been playing?
Yeah, I picked up a game called Ellie. I haven't started it yet, but yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing. Been getting through. I'm gonna get back into Crosscode. Um, I just gotta get. I'm doing my best to get the Paper Mario because it's so good.
Yeah.
But I had took it out of my system because of Bayonetta 2. So I'm gonna put it back in and play that.
Okay. Um well, I've been playing and I haven't really been playing that much. I've been playing Crosscode. I've been playing which by the way is very good if anybody out there wants a Zelda-esque adventure on their Switch. It's very, very good. I love it. I love Crosscode. I can't talk enough good things about Crosscode. It's actually in the running for Game of the Year. Two games I didn't think would be in my Game of the Year discussions are it's Crosscode and Gears Tactics. But I've been playing that. I've been playing Streets of Rage 4 a little bit on Switch. I've been playing some Okami for book club now that Tomb Raider's done. I'm really trying to like Okami. I'm getting the hang of it. The controls still feel a little bit wonky to me, but maybe that's just me and, technically how old the game is and everything. I just got to get used to it. So I've been playing that. I think it's a great looking game. Definitely of a time and place, though, for sure, at least for me. So really enjoying that, though. I'm also... I've also been playing NBA 2K and FIFA 20 on my Switch, which are great. Just, okay, well, I'm just going to play some basketball and play some soccer, just a match or two, and it's just fun, and I'm actually really looking forward to this golf game on Switch, too, that PGA Tour 2K21 or whatever. Like, it just, like, man, what a golf game would be really great right now. So, and I don't even really care about golf. It's like soccer though. I don't really care about soccer, but I like playing the games, So that's kind of it. I don't really have anything new to discuss. I've been really trying to sit and focus on some games and just haven't been able to. The focus just isn't there. So, anyways, Ed, that's going to wrap the show. How are you feeling? Still feeling good? Still feeling great?
Yeah, I'm feeling good, feeling excited. I've been I guess right now I'm holding on to money because not a lot of big games are coming out, but like I am looking for like different sales and everything. And it sucks that I can't really buy anything off of Xbox because a lot of that stuff I already own.
I know, like Borderlands is half off right now. Borderlands 3, which I was thinking about. Doom is half off. Wolfenstein 2 is $11, even though I own it on Switch. Like you can get the Arcane collection, which is Dishonored 2, the expansion to 2, and Prey for like $25 on Xbox right now.
And the crazy thing about those games is that I own them between Xbox and PlayStation, so I'm just like,
yeah. So
the only one that I'm looking for to drop is Monster Hunter Iceborne, but they only have like the DLC stuff, like skin packs and everything. They don't actually have Iceborne dropped yet. I'm like, now I need this.
Yeah, and I re-downloaded that on Xbox, so I still want to give it another shot. I feel like that would be a game I would be really into.
Dude, like, let me know. I'll play. I'll literally will play with you.
I know.
Dang it, I forgot to.
Maybe we will do that as part of our new kind of streaming initiative thing.
Okay.
Which I do after we record. I want to talk to you about some things. So, yeah.
Yeah, I still got to buy Beyond Light. I got to get that.
Yeah.
I know you're just gonna mention it's on Game Pass and stuff. But like,
I already pre-ordered it, so because it's one of those things where like it's not a Microsoft first-party game, so I'm kind of timid that it's gonna leave Game Pass, and if it does, people are gonna be out of luck, So anyways, we're gonna wrap the show. I want to thank everybody for watching. Remember, you can find all of our content on bossrushgames.com. You can watch us live every Thursday night on twitch.tv/bossrushgameslive, or you can check out the podcast on Tuesday mornings on your podcast service of choice. You can check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/bossrushgames. Like, subscribe, share, rate, and review wherever you watch us or consume the show. A review on iTunes or Spotify really helps with discoverability, so please, please, please do that. Ed, where can we find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at @ThePressure You can check out Optional Opinion on SoundCloud and other podcast apps. And yeah, check me out on Boss Rush Podcast and World 1 Podcast and other places. And if you guys want my Switch code, it is on my Twitter page at ThePressure.
Yeah. You can follow me at I am CoreyNHD on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow me on CoreyNHD on Twitch. You can also find the rest of our content on bossrushgames.com. Download our family of shows. We have a couple ones in the works. We're retooling our current one, so it's gonna be there's gonna be some overhaul things going on. So I'm very excited now that I'm done being sad. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, we love you.
Bye everybody. Woohoo!